Black Jesus. And then the devil brought the plague. Hello, my name is Shantel from Shantel is Probably Sorry. The time the reaction starts is in the description. This is Black Lightning, Season 1, Episode 7, called Equinox, the Book of Fate. I do have a few intro comments. It's like 2. Because of the fact that Thunder had like this big fight scene last episode and she's been coming into her powers more, and the secret to her power is in her breathing, and the actress always has to take these deep gasps. I'm like, oh, that must suck. I'm like, oh, how it must suck to have to do that for the rest of the show. It's like every single time you do your superhero thing, it's kind of like in Charmed, how Prue did the squinting thing with her eyes, and I was like, I know she's gonna get tired of that eventually. It's every time you act out your little magic thing or your superpower, you have to do something real extra that isn't convenient. So I'm like, they're gonna get tired of it eventually. Or I would get tired of it if I were in that position. Oh God. So I do wonder why that is the case for a character. I don't know if it has anything to do with the comic book origins or if this is just creative license that the showrunners decided to implement. But I hope they'll explain that eventually, one day. Un dia! I'm mad my voice just cracked. I wrote down symbolic monument because I was supposed to think of what the crashing of the monument symbolized, but then I didn't think about it. I don't know, but it was a little bit poetic. I do not know anything about what is going to happen in this episode. You know, for some reason, last week, I was pretty sure that this episode was going... Last week, I was just really out of it because I thought that this week was supposed to be the Run Iris Run episode for Flash, and I thought this week for Black Lightning was going to be called 3/7's The Book of Lightning, because, you know, we have Thunder, Anissa, and Lightning, Jen. Niffer. I don't know why I was wrong on both of those, and it's because I saw them somewhere. I don't know exactly how that happened, but today I'm just like, oh, neither of these episodes are what I thought they were going to be. And so I would assume that like an episode called 3/7's The Book of Lightning would be about Jennifer. So now I don't know what this episode's about. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! I just remembered last week everyone found out everything. Oh, I'm looking forward to this so hard right now. Sometimes I forget things. I remember practically everything though, but then I forget important things, like the fact that everyone knows that everyone is a superhero.
Why is that? We had a deal.
Okay. So we're gonna find out about the Gamby. We're gonna find out about Gamby's shady connection, or at least Jeff is, or they wouldn't be playing it up in the previously on like this.
Do you have powers? Can you stop a bullet? Shoot lightning out of your hands? No. Then how can you possibly understand what I'm going through?
Also soundtrack. Intense, but soundtrack.
I did some digging. But you haven't heard anything about a 6-foot albino in Freeland. I told you. I didn't know. I know what you told me. Trust me. That's just it.
I don't. Sorry. I'm so ugly. Damn.
Then we can get to the root cause of the problem. But we can't do that if you're yelling and cussing.
I can't let ninjas just be out here punking me, Mr. Nasir.
Did this man just say ninjas?
To allow someone to punk you.
Excuse me?
We're asking that you control your anger.
Ninjas in Paris. I'm not funny. Them other ninjas, cause I'm not. I rap for my ninjas, die for my ninjas. Ugly, man.
So, Tobias, crazy thing is, it's like he ain't aged a day in 30 years. How's that possible? I'll let you know when I catch his ass.
It's the magic albino dust. Just kidding. Ignore me, please. My sweet girl. Hello, I unplugged my sound. I'm going to sue myself. Oh, what's that weird shit again? It's the weird shit.
We need to have a conversation.
Jill is humming.
I already told you the Stewart situation is being cleaned up.
I'm not here about Lynn.
Do we have a deal?
Deal.
Shady happenings.
Give Mr. Toledo my regards.
Wow, Candy. I am cold.
So everything's normal. I'm just making all this up in my head. Apparently. Okay, well, on a normal day, you would have noticed that I'm wearing your favorite shirt without permission. And Dad would have asked at least a dozen times if I had an activity to replace track yet. So, you guys want to try again? Look, I stopped at your place. I picked up a few things. I just want you to be as comfortable as possible.
I'm living for the hair. I'm living.
Mom, look, I'm sorry about yesterday. I'm looking for David Poe. Is he around today? I'm sorry. David died a few days ago. He was struck by a car on his morning bike ride. The police said it was a hit and run. Did you know him?
Oh, Bambi.
On my way.
What is it? What happened?
One of your men found this before the police saw her.
Is it more albino dust?
You're making me a suit?
I am making it with a breathable Kevlar weave, so even when you're not bulletproof, you'll still be bulletproof. It's going to be fireproof and water resistant.
Oh no.
You've got to be kidding me.
Rude. They're trying to frame will do. Very rude. Very rude of you. Oh. It's okay, I didn't like her anyway. Oh, okay. Rest in peace, dude. Aw, now Jill's gone. I like Jill.
Hi, Grace. It's Anissa. I know it's been a while, but I've been thinking about you, and I was hoping that we could grab a drink or dinner or something. So call me back when you get there.
I'm laughing because I was
I miss
making
you.
jokes in my brain.
All right, bye.
I'll keep the jokes to myself.
You went too far this time.
Police sources say she was killed by electrocution, making Black Lightning their prime suspect. Protector just became its biggest threat.
Hello? Hello?
Believe in the resurrection of Octavius.
Alright, so that was Black Lightning Season 1, Episode 7, called Equinox, the Book of Fate. So I've been thinking this ever since the pilot. Cress Williams, I think is how his name is pronounced, the guy who plays Jefferson Pierce, aka Black Lightning, was on Grey's Anatomy. I mentioned that in the pilot, because so is the guy who plays Peter Gamby, whose name I should have looked up, but I didn't. I'll look it up. He was on Grey's Anatomy maybe like 12 years ago. And then like 10 years ago as well, maybe, I think. James Remar. Every time I see him, I'm like, this man hasn't aged a day. I'm sure if I went back and watched the Grey's Anatomy episodes he was in, that I'd be like, oh, okay, I see it now. But honestly, I look at him and it's like, hey, you have not aged ever. For me, personally, I'm glad that everything is out in the open, except for the fact that Gamby is still doing Gamby things and no one knows about it, and I thought that maybe it would be found out in this episode because of how heavily they were focusing on it during the previously on. But nope, they still don't know. But I mean, otherwise, Anissa, Jeff, and Lynn all know about each other. And I guess because I was looking forward to it so much, this episode was, for me, anticlimactic. I think I was expecting more. I don't know exactly what I was expecting, but I mean, it's fine. It's just, it is what it is. I am glad that Jeff has agreed to train her so that she shall be safer in the streets. Also, Lady Eve died. And I mean, I knew the second that they were shooting with lightning guns or whatever, I knew that they were going to be framing Black Lightning, which is what just happened, meaning that Black Lightning is now a public menace. It happens in all the superhero shows and movies where the superhero or the protector, for whatever reason, the community loses faith in them or sees them as evil. It's like such a common superhero story arc. So it doesn't surprise me that it's, you know, there. It doesn't surprise me at all. I didn't expect Lady Eve to go so soon. I'm gonna miss Jill. I love you, Jill! Oh, but then again, people over here resurrecting and shit, so we'll just... You know what? Actually, I don't know why I was so surprised to see Lala resurrect, because when I was on the CW site, it has, thumbnails of other clips, and I guess it might have been a sneak peek or a trailer for the next episode, which is 108, and it was Lala's face, and I was like, Lala? But I guess I figured it was I didn't really think that he came back to life. I mean, I was thinking, oh, maybe it's a flashback or something. I don't know, but he is alive, and Lawanda is... Okay, sure. This show has really interesting episode titles. Oh, there's Black Lightning. There it is. And so let me just go and see. Resurrection. It's funny because the pilot is called Resurrection. Lawanda, the Book of Hope. Lawanda, Book of Burial. That is definitely DC's Legends of Tomorrow. I was about to say Bebo, God of War. It's because my Arrow Legends of Tomorrow Season 2 and 3 and Black Lightning are all on the same page, which I really shouldn't have done that, but hey, it's too late. I've already wrote it down, so I'm just gonna go with it. Black Jesus. And then the devil brought the plague, the Book of Green Light, 3/7 is the Book of Thunder. So I mean, hey, there's some weird resurrecting shit happening. I'm down. I'm game. Does this mean that it's like Supernatural where no one ever really dies? Just kidding, this is probably just a season 1 story arc. Speaking of Black Jesus though, there's a lot of mention of God in this show. I think I've brought this up before, but I'm not about to read through all my sickies to see if I have, so I'm just gonna say it again, potentially. It is the only CW superhero show that really mentions the name God at all. It's like not shy about it either. But the only reason I'm bringing it up is because Bible Belt. It's really interesting because this show is filmed in Atlanta, takes place in Atlanta, as opposed to all the other CW DC TV shows, which are filmed in Canada. I think it's Vancouver, as well as many other of the shows on the CW, like Supernatural and The 100 and a bunch of other shows. Being someone who has lived in Georgia and like has lived in the Bible Belt, and then someone who lives where I live now, which is way up north, not in the Bible Belt at all. It's actually like, it's a very different climate in terms of religion, or the way people express themselves publicly, religiously. Down there, no one's shy about it. It's just, if you're religious, it's put out there. You pray at graduations and sometimes at school functions. I've just always found that interesting, how different areas can be so different. Well, that sounds self-explanatory, but I mean, it's the same country, but based on being in this area and the history of this area versus the history of this area, and let's just say all the factors, which I'm not going to go into those factors of what makes the Bible Belt and why the Bible Belt is the Bible Belt, but the history of this area versus the history of this area, and we see the effect of that today. Definitely different than the other DC TV shows in that aspect. And I just thought I would bring it up. That's always something I notice personally whenever I'm traveling between where I live now and where I used to live in Georgia. It's just the difference. Oh gosh, it's just such a, not just in terms of religion, but culturally, the places, because I grew up here and I also grew up in Georgia. It's like I spent half my life here up north and spent half my life down south. It's just so culturally different. So culturally different. It's like as soon as I step off of the airplane or bus or whatever in Georgia, I'm like, yep, this is definitely Georgia. And as soon as I get on the plane back to here, I'm like, yep, we're definitely going back. It's such distinctive cultures. So different. When I say I'm up north, I mean I share a border with Canada. That's how far up north we are. I think because of the fact that I expected more of this episode, it, I guess, affected how I perceived the episode. Or maybe it just, maybe regardless of the expectations I had, I would still perceive it the same way. Like, just after watching it, I'm like, oh, okay, that was an episode. I mean, important stuff happened, which, you know, Lady Eve died and Tori died, and we see Gamby kill people and stuff. It's just not my favorite episode of this season. And I think especially after watching The Flash 415 enter Flash Time, which I thought was such a good episode, and it was one of my favorite episodes of season 4, I think watching this directly after that as well kind of affects my perception of this episode. But yeah, I guess that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you liked it. You can check out my channel, my playlists, or my description to see what other shows I watch or what else I do, and subscribe if any of those things interest you. Hope you're having a wonderful existence, and I guess that brings me to bye. Oh, I never thought about the symbolic monument thing. Anyway, I'm sure if I went back and watched the Grey's episodes. Oh, I forgot to clap. There it is. To implement, I dropped my they're on the floor. Usually I catch them before they hit the floor. Ouch, my back. My neck. My neck. The best song wasn't a single, but you weren't either. Living in the dead heights, Black Beverly Hills, domesticated paradise.
Yeah, is this the electrician? What can I do for you, Inspector? Is there anyone else like you in Freeland? Okay, not exactly like you, but I just mean someone with unique abilities.
It is literally freezing in my room. I have the chills. It's 30 degrees outside, less than 30 degrees outside, and my room does not receive heat. I'm like really cold all the time. Usually I'm like wearing adequate clothing, but today I am not. Not sugar free, my TV ain't HD, that's too rich. My back. Them rings. I am cold. I will do what I have to. Where did my white hoodie go? That's the real question. I love that hoodie. It's so warm. You know what I want to do? I want to bake cookies. I haven't baked cookies since I was a child, and I've never baked them from scratch before, but I really would like to go bake cookies from scratch because I'm broke and I want cookies. But there's food in the house. I might not be able to go buy cookies, but maybe I can try to make them. Set it off and I'm cold. I don't know why I was so surprised. Don't take it personal. You ain't shit. You weren't special till I made you so. You better act like you know. I've been through worse than you. I am hungry as can't keep running away. Y'all think on it. I'll figure it out one day. No, I won't. I'm gonna delete that whole thing. Hola? Hello, I don't know what else to say. I love you, Jill. I promise. Never. I guess that brings me to bye. I want cookies, but if I make cookies, I won't be able to edit these videos, and I need to edit them. Yeah! I'm so cold and hungry. Let me go take care of that. Alright, bye.
Later that same evening.
Hello. I made cookies.